Who doesn't want happiness? Every seeking, every action is oriented towards gaining happiness. But alas, nobody seem to know what is true happiness. If we were to know, if we were to truly know what true happiness is, if humanity had discovered it, so much of conflict in the world wouldn't have been there. If at all humanity can discover what true happiness is, ashrams would have been empty. In fact, I wish and hope and pray that one day should come where there should be no relevance of we sannyasis. Humanity should have been in such great knowledge and discovering true happiness. So there should not be no need of any satsangs, no need of anything, because one has truly discovered happiness within. So once you have that, there is no need of anything else. In fact, look at yourself. If we look at our own life experiences, we will come to what is happiness, but I'll make you analyze a few life situations. Something you consider to be a source of happiness. Say a car. So with a lot of effort, you select a particular model and you have booked it and all of it. And then you go to the dealership to collect the car. They give it. Back in India, it's a big thing, you see. Here, car is nothing. Back in India, getting a car is a very, very big event. So they go in the dealership, they make the family cut a cake. There are balloons, there's confetti. And then recently, one of our devotees have a car dealership. So he was driving me to some satsang. Then he passed by one of his dealerships and he showed me, Swamiji, this is ours. And I saw a priest there. Hey, what is our temple priest doing there? I asked. Oh, Swamiji, we have a full-time priest employed now in the dealership. So soon after they get the car, we make a puja there. And then after that, we take a picture and then cut the cake and then they take the car. So it's a big thing there. So you see, here also, we put some effort, hard-earned money, we go get a car. At that moment, you're extremely happy. There were a lot of desires, but at that moment, when the key is in your hand, the papers are signed, you have nothing in your mind. You want nothing. You have nothing in your mind. That entire effort and that desire, everything has fructified. There's a sense of happiness. I call it happiness. We call it happiness. But really speaking, it isn't. We'll see why. At that moment, I seek nothing. I want nothing. The car key is in hand. I'm happy. Ideally speaking, that happiness should continue. Now that I'm happy, my effort, my desire, everything has come true. Now I sit in the car. Now I immediately am worried. Oh, okay. How do I fit it in my garage space? Where do I park it? Okay, now I need this for the car. I need some mat. I need this feature is not there. Okay, I need this. I need to put this in the car. I need this charging port. I need that. I need this. Arey, so much happiness was there. What happened? Half an hour into the drive. What happened? What happened? Where did it all go? We live our life like in this basis, not only for car, for everything else. Immediately, our mind is lost. We are no more in the present situation. Why? And also that happiness that we seem to have, it's all gone. Why? Because often humanity mistakes pleasure for happiness. What you are gaining out of that entire desire and that effort is pleasure, not happiness. Not happiness. But what it is, Swamiji, then? Pleasure, definitely. And there's some joy in pleasure. You go get an ice cream, you have an ice cream, there's some pleasure. Nice. Let it be so. Get a car, you get a home, you get a house, you go on a holiday. What is all that? Pleasure. So, how do you make a differentiation between happiness and pleasure? Pleasure is that which is fleeting. Happiness, it is that once you discover, it doesn't change, it doesn't go, it doesn't reduce, it doesn't increase. It's like an ocean. It is what it is. But we are mistaking pleasures to be happiness, and all the time we are behind pleasures, one pleasure after another, one pleasure after another. Chai, pleasure. Soon after finishing the cup, that pleasure is gone. Why? Now you need namkeen. अरे थोड़ा मीठा हो गया, थोड़ा अभी नमकीन चाहिए. So you eat some namkeen. Okay, namkeen pleasure over. Now, no, I want something neutral. Drink water again. And repeat the cycle again and again. What to talk about coffee of this country, I need not say. So, we are so behind pleasures all the time, missing out happiness, which is here and now within. Pleasures are outside, and happiness is that which is inside. So, entire spiritual effort is not seeking outside, it is turning our minds inward and seeking that within. Pleasures are all outside all the time. We use all our five sense organs and keep on wanting pleasures after pleasures after pleasures. And alas, another tragedy of modern day life is that we have become numb to the pleasures. We are having hundreds of avenues of pleasure, but we are numb to it. Nothing seems to be making one happy or be in a state of joy anymore. Everything is monotonous. Everything is monotonous. Everything is mechanical. And that's the nature of the senses. If you overuse it, they become numb. You see, it's biological too. You keep on using tongue all the time, like tasting. After this thing, you don't know what you're in for. It happens in the buffet restaurants all the time. Las Vegas, big buffets. Go on to the counter, 100 options. First one, okay, some taste is felt, some sensation of pleasure is there. To the third dish, for the fourth counter, you don't know what's happening. It's just something is going on. Now I have paid $800, I better make most of it. It becomes transactional and calculated, some effort. No more, neither joy nor pleasure nor some numb sensation. That's it. So we have overused and abused senses so much that we are numb to the little pleasures of the world also. You see, skin, one of the sense organs, sense pleasures, the sense of touch. Now, immediately $1 billion marketing companies are there to entice you into their pleasure marketing. They'll say, okay, just detergent and is not enough, you need fragrance too. So now some more product has come. So just that is not enough, it should feel soft on your skin, so some softener too. Okay, all the time I prefer soft cushions, soft chairs, soft clothes, soft sensations. All the time I want to be in that. Little variance I'm unable to take. I become irritable. I seem to be agitated. In fact, all the things which are so unhealthy habits, that's how our furnitures, seats, everything is designed in such a way only now. So that is the story of the skin. The story of the tongue. All the time, as I said, one taste after the another, something or the other, always seeking something or the other. But tongue also has another function to taste and to talk. So all the time it's being used and used and used in for both these aspects. Then the sense organ of eyes. We overuse all the time lighted screens. We want the sensations to the eyes all the time, one after the other. And we have come to such an extent where our attention doesn't stick more than 10 seconds or 15 seconds. So recently to Bangalore, one of our devotees' daughter, who studied some neuroscience and other things at Stanford, she had come. So she was attending one of the my Upanishad class. So after that, she came and said, Swamiji, you have to change your format. We have done research that human attention span is reduced to 12 minutes now. So your satsang should be within 12 minutes. Because after that, it will all go above the head. We have proof now in the lab. Yeah, it has come to that. Our attention span is so low. Say one study shows 12 minutes, but I think it's 12 seconds. Because if you observe yourself scrolling through the social media or anything, our attention doesn't stick more than a few seconds. That's how it has come to. And ears, all the time we want to keep on hearing or listening to something all the time. So you see any youngster is always with AirPods or some earpods. All the time you want something. And nose, always the entire home should be smelling good, smelling fragrant, and clothes should be fragrant, skin should be fragrant, everything should be fragrant all the time. So we have sensory overload. Regular world was there, we put so much sensation and we do the sensory overload, and then recently in Bangalore and Delhi, I discovered these massage centers having sensory deprivation tank. So it's like a eggshell, like a seashell, like huge tub and tank. So what is that? For half an hour session, you pay 5,000 rupees. So what do? So there is some salt solution, and then you float in the warm water, and there is no light in the tub, and then they close, some therapist comes and closes the tub, you are floating in the water. They give you this ear plugs, and then you are just floating in the water, and the water is set to exact body temperature of the person with the sensors. So there is no extra feeling of the water. So you pay $100 to deprive yourself of sensory inputs. In fact, our rishis gave us meditation, appa. You don't have to pay $100 for half an hour to deprive yourself of all the sensations. Sit in your own room. Put your attention to the breath. Close your eyes. And there you are, shutting the world of senses and trying to see what is within. All the time the sense Paranchikani Vitrunat Swayambhu, Kathopanishad. The Upanishad says it's as if our senses are structured all the time to be engaged with the outer world. Of course, we need to engage with the outer world, otherwise life doesn't move forward. But we need not be engaged with it 24/7. We don't need that much of engagement. We don't need that much of engagement. I give this example often. See, all of you have doors in the home. You have doorbells. When do you open the door? Suppose somebody comes and knocks at your door or rings your bell. That's the logical thing to do. You open the door when somebody rings the bell. Isn't it so? So suppose a person simply goes to the door and opens it and see, has anybody come? Has anybody come in? Has anybody come in? Do you do that? Simply keep on opening a few times in a day to look for if somebody has come in, somebody is knocking? No, you don't do that. But why do we do that with the phone? Has anybody sent me a message? Has anybody sent me a message? Has anybody sent me a message? How illogical is that? If somebody does like that at the door, we call him crazy. But we keep doing that with our smartphones all the time. So that's how, in a most crazy manner, we live our life, hardly looking at what is within. What is within. Our Upanishads focuses on discovering this true happiness within. The only place that you can recognize is in your own heart. Nowhere else. Nowhere else. You look for it in the world. It will be like your search will be going on forever and forever. You can never find it. But definitely you will find sensation of pleasure. And in life you may need it. You need entertainment. But there should be a limit for it. If you exceed that limit, you lose perspective of life. It makes you numb. It makes you dull. You will just be having this doses of dopamine, and then you'll be falling to a low state of mind, and you go into depression, you go into any various sorts of things. So this over engagement with the world is a first step to avoid in spirituality. You got to engage, but in a practical manner, as much required for your profession, as much as required for your family life. That's all. Thus far, no further. This Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, how do I discover true happiness? For that he gives in one shloka. I'll tell the shloka, you can repeat after me. Yuktahara viharasya Yuktacheshtasya karmasu Yuktasvapnavabodhasya Yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Krishna first says at the Vyavaharik level, how can we have a taste of this happiness? Because once you have a taste of something, you'll really put all the effort to gain it. So Krishna, through his yoga, he gives this great insight. In fact, work-life balance, all these cliche terms have come now, but Krishna is talking about it 5,000 years back now, you see. He says, one can be free of all suffering. Yogo bhavati dukkhaha. One can be free of all suffering. How is that? How is that possible? He says, by yoga. By integrating our life. We seem to be living in parts. My family life seems to be one part. My work personality is something else. How I am with my friends is another personality. How I am with my kids is another personality. How I am with myself is something else. In fact, that is a scary part. I'll give you this exercise. You'll run away from the room. How many of you have good big mirrors in the rooms? I see it in all your homes. I keep going for satsangs. Everybody has a good mirror in the room here. Okay? Now you put a chair in front of it. Just stare at yourself. Your reflection there. All the things you never knew that existed in your mind will come out. First minute, yeah, okay, I'm just staring. Second minute, my nose is bigger than others. How I wish my hair was much nicer, or how I wish it was not grey. How I wish I was tall. taller. How I wish I was slimmer. This, that. Start blaming. Then so many things regret. How I wish I had done this, that, this, that, this, that. There seems to be so much lack in the relationship that I have with myself. I have it with myself. You see, in fact, in the world when we are living, we seem to think that the world disturbs us. What is the cause of your unhappiness? If I ask Swamiji, my husband, what is the cause of your unhappiness? Swamiji, my wife. This is how we think that we are irritated, we are unhappy is because of our families, our society, or the world, or this, that, government. This, that we seem to say, cause of my irritation are so many things outside. But I'll give you this exercise. Look at it. Go to your rooms, leave out all the gadgets, let them all be there. Don't use any of it. There's nothing to eat in the room. You sit there, just sit there. Okay? 2 minutes, you sit. 3rd minute, you start to tap your feet. Then suddenly a scratch comes out of nowhere, an itch. You just drank water and came, now suddenly you are thirsty. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, you get so agitated and irritated and you come out of the room. Arey, why are you not able to handle yourself? Where is the cause of irritation? You all the time seem to think that cause of irritation is coming from outside. Why are you irritated with yourself? See, if we cannot handle ourselves, how do you expect others to handle us all the time? You cannot deal with yourself, but you expect your spouse, kids, society, employer, this, that, everybody to deal with you, accept you all the time, but you don't seem to have any ability to deal with yourself. So we have to look within. Yoga integrates us, all our personalities, all our traits, and this individualistic ego, it dilutes it and integrates us with the total, the whole. So Krishna says, the method to discover peace and happiness and joy is the method of yoga. And he says, and who is that person? Even in day-to-day life, that person can be joyful and not numb to even life. How to live that life to the fullest, breaking all our mechanicalness and monotony. Krishna says, Yukta Ahara, right food. Now all dietitians are talking about it. But Krishna says back then, right food. So again, when we ask Shastra, what is the right food? Shastra has a beautiful shloka. Hita bhuk, repeat after me. Hita bhuk, mita bhuk, rita bhuk, aruk bhavati. Who is going to be healthy? So our Shastra says Hita bhuk, one who takes in what is Hita, what is pleasant to one's system. That person is going to be free of diseases. Aruk bhavati. Aruk means healthy, free of all diseases. One who has Hita bhuk. More often, body is such a sensitive instrument. It has so many sensors. It gives you indications. This is not the food for me. This doesn't suit my system. It keeps on giving you signals, but we ignore. We keep on ignoring all signals. So what is one of the signal? Burp. We ignore. We go on eating. Burp is body's way of telling that enough. Don't fill the tank more than this. No, we go on eating. So Hita bhuk. If you can observe yourself as even you are eating, you see the sensations in the body. We pay least attention to that because we are all the time eating while talking on a phone call or looking at something, watching a movie, something, or podcast, something. We don't know what is the sensation which is happening in the body while we are eating. Body only shows what suits me, what doesn't suit me. It can be outer indication also. When what is not suitable to when you eat, you have some bloating, or you have some redness, some puffing up of fingers or something like that you'll have. But minutely, when you learn to look at yourself, you will know that. The way we pass stools, or all of that, when you examine, you yourself will know what suits your body, what doesn't suit your body. You don't need to get $1,000 allergy test necessarily. I mean, if it's a medical condition, you must go get it. But for all regular purposes, you yourself can discover what it is. Hitabhuk. Mitabhuk. Whatever you eat must be in mita. Mita means in small quantities or right quantities. Mitabhuk. In the most tastiest dish, you must take it in right portions. And Ritabhuk or Rutubhuk, two ways. Whatever you eat, whatever you are consuming, must be honestly earned. Ritam means satyam, in the truthful way, in the honest, through an honest profession like you are all following. So the annam, the food that we eat, must be earned through an honest profession with hard work. So that's how you consume the annam. Or another interpretation is Ritabhuk, Rita means season. See, now they are saying eat according to the seasons, but then Krishna is telling 5,000 years back. So you want to maintain physical health, eat according to the seasons. Just because oranges are available throughout the year, don't go on eating in all seasons. No, just because apples are available all through the year, not go on eating apples all through the year. See the country of your origin, or where your geographical condition, where you are. Each and every country will have its own seasonal produce. So may you consume those fruits and vegetables which are seasonal. So, and another thing, in Shankaracharya ji gives another interpretation for ahara. See, when we say ahara, whatever we take in the form of physical food, we consider only as ahara. Shankaracharya says ahriyate. Whatever you take in through the 5 senses, all of that is ahara. So watch out, whatever you consume through all the 5 sense organs, then alone you will be healthy. You are consuming sound, you are consuming picture, you are consuming sensation, smell. So may you be aware of all of it. Yukta ahara, yukta vihara, right kind of entertainment, balanced entertainment. Just because entertainment is freely available now, or so easily available, we go on entertaining ourselves. As I said, it again makes you numb if you go on like that. So balance and entertainment. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu, work-life balance. Cheshta and karma, our duties and our actions in the world. Do not be a workaholic. Any holic is not good. No extremes. Middle path, balanced path. So we must balance our time between rest and actions. Not go on bombarding the system with action, one after the another. No. Yukta swapnavabodhasya. Swapna here means sleep, not dream. One who has a balance between sleep and avabodha. Avabodha means waking hours. Yogo bhavati dukkha. That person alone becomes healthy. See, now we have modern life has interfered in our sleep cycle also. See, if you follow the natural clock, the sun and the moon. So if we can set our life to suit with the sun, as soon as the sun is coming up, we are awake, we are fresh, and we start our day. And as even the sun is fading and sun is setting, we reduce our activities, and once the moon is fully there, it's time to rest and relax. That's how the ancient world was built. They did not have hundreds of schedules and plans. They just used to follow the natural rhythm of the body, rhythm which is there, which is totally interconnected with the external world. So many diseases now they are finding out that it is truly because human being, there is an interference in sleep cycle also. Body needs that dark environment for so many processes, chemicals to produce so that it can heal itself. But we are so much full of lights even in the night here and there. So that's not allowing the body to secrete whatever natural chemicals that it needs to repair and be in a balance. So we are interfering with our own system. Yogo bhavati dukkha. Such a person becomes free from all dukkha. All dukkha. You see, if we can truly set our lifestyle in this order, 50-60% of the problem is solved. Your experience of life is going to be so much different than our mundane mechanical day-to-day waking up. You just ask yourself, how many of you have watched the night sky recently? When was the last time you saw the moon? When was the last time you saw stars? We don't know. We seldom know. Why? Because we are so busy with small screen. Vast sky is left. Vast sky is left behind. So there was a satsang, it seems, for many years, this thing, once upon a time. And in that, not satsang, a big occasion. So king had invited a sannyasi, and then they called him to the grand stage, and they praised him very, very much. So you have given up so much for God, for the sake of God. You have given up all this thing. You are such a vairagi. You have given up so much. We celebrate you. We salute you. Please accept our namaskarams. So then that sannyasi took the mic and told it seems, no, please accept my pranams. And he did pranams, because I gave up limited for the sake of limitless. You have given up limitless for the sake of limited. So whose tyaga, whose giving up is more? I have given up limited for the sake of limitless sky. Divinity, Bhagavan, Atma. You have given up limitless itself and holding on to limited screens. We have given up the limitless sky and holding on to limited screen. You put that in every aspect of life. Alas, it is like that. So having set our lifestyle, we come to deeper inquiry, which is the spiritual inquiry. The mind will now be able to inquire. So here and there, we are engaged in fleeting pleasures and sensations. We come to analyze and inquire into our true self, and Upanishads say, my own true nature, my real nature, the Atma which is residing in me is not Dukhi, is not something like that, it is Ananda. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman So Oshnute Sarvan Kamaan Saha Brahmana Vipaschiteti. Taittiriya Upanishad says, so where is the location of it? Where is it? Where is that Ananda? It is within me as my true nature. And what is its nature? That is the real truth, Satyam. And what is the nature of the truth? It's the nature of consciousness. We are all conscious beings. That consciousness is expressing itself as speech, as sight, as talk, as sounds that you are able to hear, that I am able to produce. Anantam. And what is the nature of it? It is infinite. Anandam Brahma elsewhere. It is that. And Yoveda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. Where to recognize it? Where do you discover it? In one's own heart space, in the cave of one's heart. And what happens to that person who discovers this? Sarvan Kaman. He as though gains all desires. he's going to gain that state, he's going to gain that which is gained as if when all your desires were to come true. Suppose all your desires were to come true. How would you feel? How would you be? That is the state of a jnani who discovers this this Atma Chaitanya, the nature of it, which is but true happiness. So this inquiry takes some time because we are not used to it, only because we are not used to it. See, when we come from India, the orientation is immediately to go to the right side of the car to sit. But it's the other way around. There, I mean, so here what? It's a left. It's a left, but I go always to sit in the left side here when I come. Because I'm not used to it. I'm never oriented towards it. So sometimes the spirituality takes time only because I'm not oriented to that. But once you orient yourself, it becomes natural. Now, people have been here forever and then born and brought up here, or it's been many years since you came here, you naturally go towards the left side of the car. So once you are oriented, the journey becomes smooth. And if you can recognize the comfort, the joy, that ananda that you find by this spiritual inquiry, you move further and further. You go inner and inner. The mind becomes silent and silent. And then there is always this flame of joy in your heart. And you start appreciating the world in a much better way. You appreciate all the things that are blessed in your life, all the things given to you in your life. You have the value of it in a much more way, and you will have the greatest appreciation of the knowledge that is coming from Gita and Upanishad. You see, we value, suppose you have received a nice diamond pendant or some jewelry from your mother or grandmother. We look at it and celebrate it so much, isn't it? We'll look at it, oh, this is what my mother gave, and she got it from her mother-in-law, or her mother, my grandmother, her grandmother. So we look at that antique jewelry so well and we preserve it, we safeguard it and all that, and we want to pass it on to our sons or daughters or daughter-in-laws, or that's how we want to do. But alas, we don't have the same attitude towards Bhagavad Gita. This is the crest jewel that we have inherited from thousands of years. But we never pay any attention that I should learn and I should give it to my sons and daughters and daughter-in-laws and son-in-laws. In fact, the attitude towards Bhagavad Gita, what we should have, is like that how you have it for a jewelry. Okay, Swamiji, then we will safeguard it and put it in the locker. No, not that. We must learn to appreciate it. We must try and our best to constantly derive knowledge from it, and we must make sankalpa that we will enable our next generations to get benefited from this knowledge. When we do that, our life will be full of true happiness, and of course pleasures whenever they come, and they come only to go. Even if you want to preserve a pleasure, it can never happen. You see, that's why we are mistaking pleasure to be happiness, and we want to hold on to it. It doesn't last. It doesn't last. You want to hold on to the sensation of something, of taste. You can't. It goes away. You go somewhere and want to always preserve that sensation that you got in the holiday. No. You come back home, the mundane things immediately start. You can't do it. That's how it is. So instead of all the time paying attention to the pleasures, in spirituality, in Adhyatma, we should take back a step and turn inward, turn as though inward, and look at the deep-seated happiness, deep-rooted happiness which is there. We must recognize. And how do you recognize? The teachings of the Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, help us to turn inward and look at it. We cannot use worldly means to look at it, because the sense organs are always directed towards the external world. So when we use the Gita, and how, Swamiji, we don't know how to handle Gita. That's why there are teachers of Gita, we sannyasis everywhere, gurukulams. So get connected. That's why need of a guru. So guru is also like a Google map, that's it. Takes you to a destination of true happiness. So a pointing finger, somebody who gives you direction so that you make your own life better. You go towards ultimate peace and joy. So finally, when we analyze the world, pariksha lokan, karma chitan, when you examine every part, everything of the world, that's why outer exploration is also very important. So you look around and see, learn from your own experiences. We often miss it. We miss it. We often miss it. When you learn from your experiences, you will know not to simply be slaves of pleasures, to look deeper and discover the true happiness within, which doesn't need any external input. So, why is that when you see people in meditation, people in spiritual path, how is it that just on the seat of meditation there seem to be some joy and happiness on their face? How is it possible? Is it because of the numerous surgery that smile is there? It's not that, nothing. Because you're simply in connection with what is your own true nature, your own true being. So you have no external dependence for your happiness. Externally something is there, fine, let it be there. If it is not there also, I'm not going to be irritated, I'm not going to be worried. So that is the true happiness that we finally seek when finally recognize and get it out of the spiritual quest of Vedanta, of Bhagavad Gita. Thus you are abide in that happiness, true happiness. After that, there are no questions, there are no doubts, there is no seeking, there is no restlessness, there is no always wanting, a dil mange more. Always wanting. It's so irritating to be like that, isn't it? You see that. You want to put a stop for it. That's why you keep on grabbing one after the other, one thing after the other, one thing after the other, one habit after another, one taste after another. You put an end to seeking. Gurur naiva shishyaha chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. So once you discover the true nature, you don't need only our culture, our Sanatana Dharma says, having gained that, you don't need even Guru also. Because Guru also has done his job in showing you the way, in recognizing true happiness within. So you don't need Guru, you're no more a Shishya, you're no more a father, you're no more a mother, you're no more an employer, you're no more an employee, you're no more anything. So what am I? Nature of true happiness. Shivoham, Shivoham. That is a small glimpse of the spiritual journey, the quest that we all need to take up, finally discovering true happiness and meaning within ourselves.